So, before going to start my session, then I would like to thank a few people that Dr. Geeta Kiran ma'am, head of the department, who's coordinating this event. I'm very thankful to ma'am for this opportunity, and Dr. S. Balaji sir. So he is my well-wisher, he is my guide, and he always be my side whenever I need it in research, collaborative research. So I thank Dr. S. Balaji sir and also the Dr. Rupa ma'am for the collaborative research. uh, Many times he supported me in research areas in cancer biology. And also, I would like to thank the management of Dynamics College of Engineering in Bangalore. Yeah, ma'am. Next slide. Yeah. Today's session actually we're going to learn few things. Our learning objective is so genome data retrieval and data quality analysis. Here we are talking about the SARS viral genome data. So we're going to know about the SARS viral genome data and how to retrieve this data and how to analyze this data. That's very very important because we are going to screen the mutations because mutation is the very big problem now. And in this pandemic situation, you can see that continuously the SARS virus it's mutating themselves to escape from the human host mechanisms. Human host defense mechanisms. So it's very important to know study about this genome data. So we are going to study, we are going to learn about this genome data retrieval and data quality analysis, and also how to visualize this data. So we all know this microbial genomes and human genome data, and the visualization and identify the particular genes. For example, if you are in SARS-CoV virus, you can see that the spike protein is one of the important protein, key protein for its pathogenicity and its virulent. So how to identify these genes and using some different softwares, and also to find out the tree, phylogenetic tree, and how this SARS virus has evolved during this particular time. Started from the Wuhan city, China. So from there, you can see that when it started, so in the Wuhan city, the coronavirus totally the one shape and one evolutionary functions, but later, if you see that after 1 year, it has modified themselves, and it's a lot of evolutions happen among these SARS families. So we're going to construct tree SNP trees, phylogenetic tree, and also we're going to find out those mutations. So what are the mutations are there in this SARS corona genomes? Because the mutations are very problematic. So in this problematic conditions, we're going to track these mutations. So how many mutations are there? Because a number of mutations are already identified, reported from various countries and from various laboratories. So how to track these mutations and how to find out these mutations, virulent mutations, and all these things we're going to check it here. Not only that, and I'm going to you are going to create a molecular structures, and also we're going to visualize that mutant protein because the spike protein there are a number of mutations are identified. Those protein structures we're going to analyze and we're going to visualize it. And at the end, you will be able to select few tools to apply to solve the outbreak, this coronavirus. Suppose if you want to do some research or if you want to do track this corona outbreak, you can use some of the tools. We're going to list out some of the tools and softwares here in this tool. So this will be a good package to you to understand, to learn, and few tools which will help us to track this outbreak in the COVID outbreak. And next slide. So these are the tools and softwares and the workflows which we are going to study today. So we can the list of tools are there here, some databases we have. So how to find out this genome data, SARS viral genome and their data sets. Different tools are available and also their mutations and the different softwares also we're going to use it here and there to analyze this data. So we're going to see in detail about in answer session. Ma'am, next slide. So before going to start, I just give a brief introduction. I'm not going to detail because everybody knows about the SARS-CoV-2. We're going to just have an idea of this SARS-CoV because we're going to use some data sets from this related to the SARS-CoV virus. So at least if you know a few things about it, it will be helpful to us to understand the sequence level and structure level of this spike proteins and SARS coronavirus proteins. So it has four main structural proteins. We all know this and the spike protein, annular proteins, and membrane proteins, and nucleic capsid, and several other non-structural proteins also available. And this SARS-CoV-2 seems to use human receptor ACE2 as its main entry. So we can see here the spike proteins which always binds to the ACE2 of a human host receptor, and it uses this ACE2 receptor to enter into the human host cell. So the binding of this ACE2, binding with this ACE2 is very, very important because the spike protein has a binding domain. So using this, it will easily enter into this human host cell and it just create problems. And also the few things will be understand that you can see that there are we can see that last year 2020 there are a number of research articles and outputs are published. You can see that within a year there are more than 20,000 articles are published. So this is the only year the reports have come more, and that means data is generated more. So data are more when we have data are more and accumulated, and so we need to convert this data into the knowledgeable informations, or we need to interpret the data, and we need to analyze this data to find out the clue or solution for this problem. And next slide. So we can see here researchers around the world, they're investing this virus, we know that. And also the laboratories are sharing the SARS-CoV related to data with with the fast, with a even intensive way. The very faster way we can just see that many data are available in the public domain now. Because usually the data are not just like that reported in the public domain. So there will be some privacy and the patent problems. But regarding this SARS-CoV virus, in terms of this, you can see that the huge amount of data are generated, and those data are deposited, and it's available for public and in the public domain also. And the few things you can, because of in light of the sheer amount of data, many fundamental questions are in SARS-CoV research can only be tackled with the help of computational biologists. So why computational biologists are important and playing a vital role in analyzing this data? Because it's very faster, so it reduces the time, and it will just reduce our workload and all those things. It will happen because most of the work's done by the computer and computational tools and softwares. So the data also will be generated very faster, and we will be able to identify some solutions as clue to solve the issues or problems kind of things. So that's the reason why we are going to talk about today and a few computational tools, how these tools are how the tools are helpful to us to identify to analyze this data. So one of the important method that we have is actually the sequencing technology. So because of this only, the lot of mutations are identified in corona SARS virus genome actually. So the Wuhan city, the China's first launched this genome sequence of SARS virus coronaviruses. So genome sequencing usually done in experimental in vitro laboratory before. So we have a machines now with high sophisticated and advanced machines we have now, like Illumina, ISEC, and IronTorrent, and there are different machines we have. This is advanced machines and used in next generation sequencing. So it will sequence that genome of an organisms, and it will give us the data of genome data of an organism, so that we can analyze this genome data, and we can get some inference from this data and for further clue and research. And also the third generation sequencing also come up now. So you can say the Oxford Nanopore is one of the machines. So the third generation sequencing machines will help us to sequence very faster, and will give us quality data and all those things. Okay. So what we are going to do now actually. So we have take a sample. So in India, the many samples are collected from many places. Even the SARS coronavirus samples are collected from many areas in the world, across the world. So there, those samples can be from the samples the SARS virus organisms are isolated, and they will just follow some of the steps in the next generation sequencing preparations and the PCR and all those things. Okay, so after that, there are a lot of analysis can be done in a computational method. So computational tools we are going to use, those tools can be used, and which will help us to characterize this genome, to analyze this genome. Finally, we can interpret easily, we can get some solutions. So what are the content we have in this session, in the answer session? So data retrieval, data format, we are going to know now. And also whole genome phylogeny in Mega software. So we use some software to find out this evolutionary path of this SARS virus. And also gene visualization in IGV software. And also we just compare this gene sequence of multiple sequence analysis we do to identify the mutations. Further, we use CVIF software. And also we are going to find out, we are going to elucidate the protein structure, like wild and mutant proteins. So wild type is their normal protein, SARS virus, normal proteins are the spike protein. And also how it's mutated later, the protein structure also we're going to design and elucidate today. And we're going to we're going to visualize the structures and analysis. So before going to this, we need to know the data retrieval data format. Like you can say different data formats we're going to use actually in this Answer training. So we need to know about this data format. Like one is actually the FASTA format. So all the gene sequences, protein sequences are deposited in the database in this format only. The FASTQ formats, these formats will get it from the sequencer machine sequences. The many machines we have. So from this, some machines will generate automatically the FASTQ report. Some machines will not. That has to be converted into FASTQ format. And SAM file and BAM files are there. We're going to align how to align these genome sequences with the references sequences like a mutant and with a reference and a wild type of a genome, so we can just compare it. And also VCF files are there and gene-centric annotations and protein data bank, NCA data bank. So these are the file format which we're going to use in our practical, sorry, in our session now. So FASTA format is like this. You can see the greater than symbol, start with the greater than symbol, and the following that accession number and the length of the sequences and organism names. And after that, second line, we start with this nucleotide sequences or protein sequences. And move on to the next. And the FASTQ format, this is the this format we're going to use for genome data analysis today. So it has a four part here. You can see the sequence ID, the actual sequence started from here, and the separator we use the plus symbol here. The quality score. Each and every basis there is a quality scores. So it's whether this basis nucleotide sequencer give us a best quality, the quality is good or not. So based on the symbols, we will be able to understand the quality of this nucleotide sequences. If there is any poor qualities or any other substitution based calls, then it will be identified easily and from this quality scores. So another format we have GFF format, that's a generic feature format. So in this we can get the detail of all this gene related informations under CDS coding DNA sequences. And this format also we're going to use it for further annotating the data, and we just find from there we just find out some functional significant data. So another variant calling file. So it is nothing but we're going to identify the mutations like. So genome reference genomes we have, that means Wuhan city we have taken one genome sequence. From there, the virus is mutated themselves, and also there is a lot of mutations and variations in the sequences. We're going to compare this data, and those type of VCF files can be generated from the alignment. Also, we can from different tools we're going to use SAM tool, BAM tool, and the different tools we have to generate these files, and also the files will be available. Yeah, data formats, we know that different data format, mostly we are going to use FASTA and FASTQ format and GFF format in this session actually. So there are data retrieval for data retrieval. So I've downloaded few data sets from these databases like NCBI viruses and GIS-AID database, we call it is actually. So we're going to see how to use this database, how to download the data set from the databases. And after that, also we're going to download FASTQ file formats from the ENA databases. These are workflow, the major workflow, major steps we are going to discuss and work on and work in today's session. So sequence variance alignment, we are going to download sequence file here and data sets from the databases. After that, we're going to align from the normal gene and the mutation genes or genomes. And after that, we just check that how this SARS virus has evolved from the origin, and so after that, how this evolutionary path and all these things we're going to check it. And the evolutionary time period also we're going to check it. Finally, we just check out the function of this sequence, structures of this particular protein. Suppose if it is a mutant, and how this mutations causes diseases, whether it's a virulent or non-virulent, or the pathogenicity is high, increase or decrease, all these things we are going to check it actually. So in structural level. So Mega software, we're going to use it. These are the data sets I used already. So the reference genomes are given here, NC0. This is reference genome from Wuhan city. It's a sequence that is the first identified organisms there. And from there, they've done a genome sequencing. This genome data we have isolated. After that, these data sets we have collected from different places in India and other countries as well. So how these genomes are very from when you compare to this reference genome sequences, and we're going to compare how this in the polygenimetry analysis and different polygenimetry we're going to check it, and the evolutionary times we're going to identify. So for this we are using a Mega software here. So these are the data files which I taken here, which we have seen now. These are the proteins which we have chosen. I'll move to the next slide. And also how to visualize these genome sequences and their mutations and the spike proteins, particular genes to identify the particular genes in the genomes. That we use the IGV software, and IGV software is used to align reference genomes and that mutant genomes, variant genomes. All the things we're going to do it in IGV software. The different features we're going to see when we use these tools, because we are running short of time, so we just move on to the next slide. These are the support IGB support file formats. There are many file format can be utilized in these IGB tools. It access many tools actually, so for different purposes. So multiple sequence alignment, we use CU. Why we do the multiple sequence alignment? Because different genome of and different stains or samples from different places, we just collect it and sequences there. We are going to compare the sequences. When you do the alignment, we'll be able to identify where the exactly mutations happen and which position mutations are occurs. Because of that, it's become more relevant these days. And now the modified version of the coronavirus has also it has also come up. And also to check these mutations, whether these mutations are virulent or it causes any diseases, there is any functional impact on these particular mutations. We're going to use this iMutant and a Dynamut, different tools we're going to use it. And this tool will give us the stability information of this particular protein, particular mutations on the protein structures. So, and also we're going to prepare that protein models, right? So how to protein the viral, normal viral protein and the mutant viral proteins, we're going to compare this. Because for further analysis, we need to have that mutant structure so that we can do some analysis on that. We'll come to know some idea of this particular, the pathogenicity of SARS coronavirus. So we all know the surface glycoproteins are like this, and the spike proteins, we call it as glycoproteins, S proteins. So from this, we are going to choose this protein sequence only for further visualization analysis here. So there are different mutations we have listed here. You can see we are going to at least few mutations we're going to study here. D61G is a major concern in these days actually. So now again in the UK and Brazil, there are different types of mutations are identified. It is also problematic now. It is a big threat to the public now. So we are going to check those mutations also. Yes. So with this, I just close this theoretical session, and we just move on to this answer session. So I hope you have understood few things actually about this data format. So when you do the answer session, you will understand more about this data formats, the tools and softwares which will be helpful to track this COVID outbreak. Yeah. Ma'am, can you visible now my desktop?
Yes, sir. It's visible,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so very much, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Welcome.
Yeah. Dear participants, actually, we're going to start our answer session now. So in the workflow, the first step is we have data retrieval and data formats. So I'm going to tell you now how to retrieve a data sets from the database. So we have a NCBI virus database. You can see the NGBS virus databases. NCBI is a public database, general database developed by US government and National Center for Biology, Biotechnology Information, we call it is. Particularly for Corona SARS-CoV-2 data, they developed a different domain and where we can get the information of this COVID-2. And there are a lot of sequential data and the structural data is available here. And we can also track this. So you can see here, there are informations here, and also the quick access to SARS-CoV data, we can see here, the reference genome sequences. If you're looking for a reference genome sequences, that means the Wuhan city, the first organism is identified, the SARS-CoV organism identified, the genome sequence of that organism is sequencing is done. So if you want to know about this, you can just click on this, there we can get this sequence details actually. So you can see the China SARS-CoV virus. And if you click on this, you can get the genome assembly of this and all this information. If you want to download this, you just click on this, you just click download. Because sometimes it takes time. It depends on your computer. If it is high-end computer, then it will be downloading very faster. And also, you can see here, there is a view mutations in the SARS-CoV SRA data. Just click on this. So you're looking for SARS-CoV mutations, right? Because mutation is the problem. So SARS virus, we are trying to develop a vaccines and drugs. So during which it will modify themselves to escape from the action of this vaccine or the human host response defense or drugs. So it's continuously, frequently it's mutating themselves. To track these mutations are very, very toughest jobs now. So because a number of mutations are already identified, you can see here there are this reference genome 5 days to 3 days genome sequences here. The S protein is there and E protein and N proteins, the different genomes are there. And also, you can also see the mutations, how many mutations are reported already in the database. Whichever mutations are identified and reported, those mutation data will be available in this database actually. So suppose if you want to download the sequence, you can use this reference sequence ID here, NCBI ID, they've given it here. And you can see here with this ID, we can get this genome sequence of SARS-CoV-2. Yeah, you can see that here mutations are reported here. So only these days the server is a bit slow because the many people are accessing data and sometimes it's a bit slow to for this sequences here. So this is the database which we are going to use to for data retrieval. Yeah, you can see here here I can SARS-CoV-2 isolate and achieve.
मैंने नहीं बुलाया तुम्हें.
So you can see that from the Wuhan city, the complete genome sequence is identified, and the sequence from 18th July 2022, and this is the accession number which you are looking for, and the total number of base pairs and nucleotides in the genome sequence. So genome sequences, if you want to see, if you go down, you can see that this is the genome sequence of the SARS-CoV virus. So adenine, guanine, cytosine. So complete genome sequence is available here. You can take this, download this genome sequence. You can use as a reference sequence for further analysis. Suppose if you have mutated strains, so you can just compare those mutated strain sequence with these genome sequences. You will be able to identify where there exactly mismatches are happening in the nucleotide sequence. So you will identify those mutations in this data in the sequence. So it will be easy for us to screen the mutation further. And suppose if you want to download the sequence, you need to download the FASTA sequence. I was talking about in the data format FASTA sequence, right? So here you can download this FASTA sequence. You just click on this FASTA sequence. So why we need a FASTA sequence? So I'll tell you the reason why we need a FASTA sequence. I just go back again. Here you can see that this is the sequence. So you can see that this is the sequence is given here. And the actual sequence is AT, GC, adenine, guanine, cytosine, thyrosine. But also you can see the numbers also here, the position numbers. But when you use the sequence, you can select and copy paste and use that further analysis in the tools, some softwares when you use, the softwares will read these nucleotides. So when it's read, also this is the numbers also will be there. It will show the errors because the program is it has to read that nucleotide sequence. If any other data are there, then it will just show the error. So to eliminate these numbers, we need a FASTA file format. And also not only that, there are a few reasons why we need a FASTA format. Like you can see here, there is a greater than symbol, start with the greater than symbol, and following that the accession number and the protein name and that the stain name and the genome, right? So if you put a greater than symbol here, all the softwares in computational biology, it will just consider it as a title. So it will not consider this line for further analysis. For example, for matching with the other sequences, anything, it is considered as a title. So if there is no greater than symbol, it will not consider. It will also consider this also for the further analysis. So now the case of the greater than symbol, it will just consider this is title sequence. Then after that, it will just move on to this line for further analysis. Then it will take this sequence for further analysis. So that FASTA sequence is very, very important. So you can just copy this FASTA sequence and you can just paste it into Notepad. You can keep it and save it as a uh, in the Notepad as a FASTA file format. So and one more database we have. I was mentioned about how to download this database that is called ENA database. So ENA browser we call it is. Yeah. So here, how to download that data sets? If you see that, I just because I just you can search coronavirus COVID data also we can go, or else any other data sets also we can go. You can use this. So when you click on this COVID-2, you can see the number of the data sets are available here. And from these, if you click on this experiment, view experiment, so different machines are there actually. So sequencing machine, the SARS coronavirus genome sequencing is done by some machines actually. There are different machines are available for sequencing genome of an organisms. One is Illumina, Iron Torrent, Roche, Solid. There are different methods. These machines are there. So here they use the Illumina dataset sequencing actually. So the datasets you can just take it here. For example, any datasets you can just click on this. So it will take you to the page where we can get to the information of this sequencing, and also you can download the FASTQ format. So I was talking about FASTA format, right? Now we are talking about this FASTQ format. If you want to download this genome data, SARS-CoV, you can just click and you can just download all. It's a FASTQ format. It will be downloaded FASTQ format, zip format, and then you can just save it. Already sequences are downloaded, so sometimes it takes time because 600 MB or a 1 GB data file it is, so it takes some time. So I didn't download here. You can just click this also. In this way also you can download the data. And also suppose if you want to go based on, in terms of the samples, also you can just get it. Different samples also you can get it. Sample wise data also you can get it. So these two major databases we use it here for downloading the data sets. There are still the UCSC browser databases are there. There are other databases also there. And there are one more databases I was talking about this GIS-AID, right? GIS-AID database. So in this database also we can get the data sets for the pathogens which causes infectious disease. So in this database also you can get it. Even the genome epidemiology of the even COVID-19 virus, the data sets you can get, and also COVID-19 tracking of variants. So which country now the new variants of identified, new mutations are identified. All these informations you can just get it here in this database, and also we can get the information of this mutation details and there are all those things, the different clades and even South Africa and UK novel UK variant database, and even now the Brazil the new variants of identified. It goes on. So we have to track these mutations. Otherwise, it will be a serious problem. It will be a problematic in controlling the data sets, actually controlling these mutations or finding a clue. So you can see that the mutations also they're reported here in this NCBI virus database. You can see that it's USA, Brazil, and there are Australia, Bangladesh, and India. Even in India, these mutations are identified. Most of the stains, the samples, they've identified these mutations more in Australia and US, and even in India. So all this mutation data we can get it here in the virus NCBI virus information. Even in China, USA is there, and also you can check that in India, any other what type of mutations are identified in India. In Indian coronavirus, is there any mutations are new? So all these things we can get it. You can take these informations actually. Okay. So now data sets are downloaded. I just move on to this tool analysis now. So we have data sets here. So I'm going to start now with that IGV tool now. So I'm a bit faster. Sorry for that. So in case of steps, if you want, we'll share the steps in detail into the Google Cloud storage space. You can get it there also. So when you open this, this is IGB tool we used. Yeah. So IGB tool here, this tool I'm going to use to identify the spike protein in the corona genome, SARS virus genome. So before going to identify, I just explain a few things about these tools actually. So here you can see the human genome also available here. Human genome, if we click, it will load the human genome because human genome sequencing is done. It is available in the database. So that data sets also available here in the IGB tool, the domain. Where you can choose that this tool you can just load human genome because human genome the file size is very big. So if you have the in computer workstation, it will load very faster. Sometimes it will take some time if you have yeah, it is low reference genome. So we are going to use this human genome as a reference genome, and also we're going to use a different data sets here. So different data sets when you use, I'm going to use because data sets again we have to download it. The file size is very big. So for that time, what I do is I just load from this IGB example files only. So load from server. So if you click the load from server, already for the tutorial, they have different data sets here. So for that, I use this here ChIP6 data, ChIP6 data sets. Here the ChIP6 data is histone binding proteins actually. So ChIP6 data set help us to find out the binding site of the protein binding sites and transcription factor binding sites. So when you this four sequences are there, you can when you upload it, just IGB is just a visualizer. So we are going to visualize the data. We are going to predict anything here. We are going to generate any new data here. So we're going to visualize this data actually, what is already predicted. So reference genes are here. It's already the sequences here. So if you click on this, actually, for example, you can choose a chromosome one because the human chromosome has 22, right, along with the XY chromosomes. So it's chromosome 1 I'm choosing here. In the chromosome 1, there are different genes are located here in the down arrow mark. For our understanding, I just move towards this. And there are three columns here. You can see here the chromosome detail here in the bar, and there are the proteins data sets we uploaded here. The reference genes are here. So for example, if you click on here, double click, it will be the red box you can see here, the where there's exactly the region is located in the chromosomes. So you can easily identify it here. And also you can just again you can choose the chromosome one. You can, if you click on this some region, so you will be able to see that what are the genes are present in this particular regions. And those informations you can just get it. And also if you just click on this, and you can also see that particular region in the chromosomes. You can also zoom it and see that here the options are there. You can just click on this. You can just zoom it. For example, if you want to see only the particular genes in this space, workspace, you can see here the PTBP2. So I'm going to type it here, PTBP2. So you can see they will be able to see only this PTB2, the gene sequence. And now you can see that it is located in the chromosome here. If you want to see the detail, more detail about this, still if you zoom it, sometime if computer is not that faster, then it will hang sometime. So that it will take some time to zoom it. And also see here the nucleotide sequences are there here. Their nucleotide sequences, gene sequences also they given here, and there 3' the protein sequence also they given here. So these informations you can get. Suppose if you want to export this file, also you can just save this session. You can open and save this session, and all these things you can do it. Okay. Now this is the something about these tools. Actually, there are many features in these tools. For time constraint, we just move on to this. What is this? How to analyze this coronavirus genes? Yes. So again, I'm going to open this IGV tool. Here I'm going to identify the spike protein in the coronavirus gene using IGV tool. So for this, we need some data sets actually. So we're going to download those data sets in the database, NCBI database. There are two files which we are going to use it actually in the database. For example, already we have I just go to this accession number to download the complete genome of this SARS coronavirus. Okay, so how to download this FASTA sequence and the GFF file we need actually to upload in IGB tool. So here you can just select this. You can see the send to option here. Send to option. Click on this send to option. Go to file, select file option. Then it will ask the which format you want. I want FASTA format. So you can just click on the FASTA format, then create file. So it will you can get this FASTA sequence of this particular genome. And also we need a GFF file to study about this. Same file you can just create it and you can see GFF3 file is there. You can just again create the GFF file here. So when you click on this GFF file, this both the files you can just visualize in the genome sequence. So to identify to identify spike protein, actually there are different many proteins. We are targeting now the spike protein to identify. So here go to the genome file, genome option in this menu, and I create genome file here. Just give some identified like 1, 2, 3, or descriptive name or source or FASTA file. You need to upload it here. I upload the FASTA file format, and also you can. I have done here the spike protein nucleotide sequences here. Yeah, I uploaded FASTA format, and also gene file also we need to upload gene feature file, sequence GFF file already there. So one correction you need to do this while downloading this GFF file, it is in the format of GFF3. There has to be edited. You should choose the GFF file only. So just create it and upload it, and also you just create it the session now. It is uploading here in the system. 29 KB file it is actually. So we are all talking about SARS coronavirus, their virulence, their pathogenicity, their dangerous things, right? It is about only the 29 KB only. So the 29 KB virus is showing this much problem in the world. So it is creating a lot of problems among the community. So you can see here the 29 KB is a very, very problem. You know, all the scientific community is struggling to handle this 29 KB data. So it's like KB, it's not a MB also, it's a KB actually. So also, so when you click on this here, you can see the buttons. You can see that here the file has come now. If you want, you can zoom. You can see the S protein is there, spike protein. This is what we are looking for. If you click on this, you will see the detail of this SARS coronavirus. And when the December 2019 is identified, the China, it is identified countries China, and also the Wuhan city, it is identified. There were some more information they given here, and the gene is actually the S gene, and the protein coding genes they given. All these informations you will get it. For example, you can also drag this. So if you can also zoom it actually. So you can just click on this. This is the spike protein, the 20 kb. If you click on this, you will be able to see this in this particular region under the region also they given here. You can see here the from starting point to end point, the particular regions are given in 2 9 something. So suppose if you have already the spike protein regions, you can also directly give these regions here and you can get it. Still, if you zoom it, you can see that nucleotide sequences and the protein sequences here, the particular spike proteins. Okay. And this is how you can just identify here. The regions also will be able to identify it here, and we'll check that how many proteins are there in this particular genomes, and all these informations we can get in the IGB tool. So still few more analysis can be done here because I wanted to talk about more of this mutation. So I just move on to this mutation side. So, and also how to identify spike protein here directly. If you show that spike here, you can see that here in this page, the complete genome page actually, the spike glycoproteins are here, and also gene like coding DNA sequences. For example, here the coding DNA sequence is here, right? So if you give these regions in the IGB tool, so you can get directly the particular regions and the sequence and their details. You can just get it. Still, if you want to download the protein sequence, you can just click this on this ID protein ID. So it will take you to this the another databases where we can get the protein sequence. Okay. So these are the things can be done in IGB tool. Next time, just move on. I'm going to talk about this C Mega software. So Mega is one of the important software to identify the mutations, to identify mutations and the corona genome sequence. So it is a very fantastic tool actually. So you can see here. So molecular evolutionary genetic analysis tool it is. So the another tool we have here, molecular evolution. So we are going to download different data sets. So actually in the PPT, I was shown different data sets, reference genome sequences, and already also yeah, this is reference genome sequence I have, and all others are mutant or samples collected from different part of the world, taken it from retrieved from the different databases. Okay. So that we are going to upload it here in the database. I'll go to align, build alignment is there. So here you're going to retrieve a sequence from the file. So when you can just uploading those data. So which you have seen in just now in this PPT, those data we are going to upload it here. So genome sequences. So already those data sets are downloaded. How we are downloading, how it can be downloaded, that already we discussed from NCA database or in the NCBI virus database or in the ENA database. We can download all the sequences. You can select all the sequences at a time. You can download all the sequences. So I uploaded all the sequences here in this Mega software. You can see here Mega software we uploaded here. This is reference sequences identified in the Wuhan city in the SARS coronavirus genes, and there is other sample sequences collected from various part of the world, part of the world in India as well and abroad. There are different samples we have collected here. There are some mutations are available here. Now I'm going to align these sequences. So it will we just do the multiple sequence alignment. When you do the alignment, the best matching sequences will match, and the mismatching and although also we're going to get from this actually. There is alignment here, align by cluster W. Before going to align, you see it is not enabled here. You need to select all. So go to select all sequences, because whichever the sequences you're going to align it, you need to specify here. The tool will recognize it. Now it is enabled here. If you click on this, it will align. For example, it will ask that gap penalty score, because the sequence length sometimes varies. So because of the sequence length variations, the gaps will be there in this sequences. Doing the alignment, the gap should be actually eliminated. So all these things, this tool will automatically will just give this an advanced recent tool. So when we click on this, again, it will do the parallel sequence alignment, multiple sequence alignments. It takes sometimes it takes more than the 3-4 hours, because it's a genome sequences. So viral genome sequences. So it will take more time. So what I do is already I aligned. I'm going to upload those data actually. So already the alignment is done. I'm going to upload this alignment file here. Yeah, you see that how it is aligned nicely. So the matches and mismatches, we'll be able to see that. So okay, so this alignment, this is how the alignments looks. The reference genomes are here, and the other samples how it is aligned. There are some noisy during the sequencing steps. Some base call problem is there here, so it is showing indicating the number n. So you can see, you can just drag it. You can just see that how these sequences are matching anywhere mutations are there. But from this, you will not very difficult to identify where that exactly mutation, right? Actually, we are looking to identify the mutations. But if you want to know about the mutations, again, we need to use some other tool like to identify only the mutations. We don't want to we don't want these matches. Only the mismatches we want to see means we have a different tool called CView that also we're going to see in the next slide. So how to construct? So we have to load this actually session and export this alignment in Mega format and the Nexus format. So different formats we have for different tool analysis. So Mega format, we are using a Mega tool. You can save this Mega file here. So you can save this alignment. Already the file is aligned. So I'm just move on to this phylogenetic tree analysis. How this Wuhan stain is evolved, and from there the different stains are different viruses, mutated evaluated viruses are in the different countries that we can just get. So in this, you can go to the phylogeny. So you can just conduct SNP trees, construct maximum likelihood, and also that alignment file is there, Mega file format is there. And you can just when you click on this, you can see here the parameters are there. Use default parameters. you want to know more about it later, you can just contact me about these tools. I'll explain you in detail. So it is now constructing the tree phylogenetic SNP tree, like a tree, the molecular phylogenetic maximum likelihood tree is constructing now. So once it is done, then we'll be able to see that how this SARS virus from the Wuhan cities is evolved during this particular time. It is generated now. You can see here the sequence which we use, the reference sequences here. You can see that here the reference genome sequences here. From there, how these stains are evolved. You can see here the different groups we have, right? Different class or different clusters we can see here. These are the related to some mutations. For example, these samples have the same number of mutations. Maybe in UK, you can see that here now the recent on some viruses evolved the new mutations. They identify new mutations. Maybe in UK samples, when you collect, they may come up to these clusters. Like, for example, I'm just talking about. For example, in India, you can see that maybe the different clusters. So for this, we'll be able to identify how these viruses mutated and evolved, and what is the time period actually, the duration of the evolution time period. All those things we can just get to know. And if you choose that the UK stain and the Brazil stain and the Indian stain and Chinese stain separately, then you will be able to see that the clusters, different clusters for this particular samples actually. So this is how you can just construct this tree, and you will be able to identify, you can track the molecular evolutionary path of this evolution of this SARS-CoV virus from the day 1 to till date. Actually, from the different countries, you can just able to identify it. Suppose if this mutation is identified in India, so immediately you will give a caution. So because this cluster is shared the same ancestor, so to the Indian cluster as well. So there are some samples, the mutations are identified, the particular mutations are identified. So we can just give a alert. So there we can get to know, we can work on this particular mutations. So this is how the people are tracking even in Indian academic institutes and the R&D sectors, they were working on this actually. So they're just working on identifying and tracking the mutations and to control and track this outbreak actually. So now you said, yeah, there are different clusters are available. So now we're going to see that what are the mutations are actually available here in this. Now we are just move on to this actually CView tool. CView tool. Yeah, this tool we are going to see now. So how to identify the mutations. So for this we use CView tool. Yeah, CView which downloaded. I hope you are all downloaded. You can just open this application file. Very simple file, a standalone program actually. So here you can go to the it's already uploaded alignment file actually. Spike all protein, because I've taken the all sequences, I put it in the one file actually. I'm going to upload all these things. You can see here the spike protein is there. The different samples already we have collected here. So it is aligned. Already alignment file is done, right? So that alignment file we have uploaded here. So how these nucleotides are matching. From this, we need to identify where that exactly mutations happen. Which strain? This strain, if you want to know, is there any mutations here anywhere? This tool will give us nicely. Also, you can see the view as a protein because it's a gene level we are talking about. Also, you can just see the protein level because the mutations means if you start with this amino acid level, it will be good actually. So that you can just convert this view as a protein. Okay. And also now you can just select this protein and you can just reference file, you can choose it. So you can see here, I want to now check that with the reference protein, I'm going to check is there any mutations in that samples. For that, if you choose, you need to click on this actually by reference, but it is not enabled here. Why it is not enabled? If you choose the reference file, then it will be enabled here. You just click on this. See that here, the only it will show that only the mutations where it's exactly happened. So the same spike proteins, but this collected from a different country and different place. Even in Indian samples also there in this actually. So this is reference genomes which is sequenced in a Ugan sample. And we are going to compare the Indian sample and different countries. Is there any mutations are available? You can see that here, this sample, these two samples, instead of this area, the glycine is replaced by alanine, this position. Suppose if you click on this, actually, you will able to see exactly what it is and which position it is. Just click on this. You can see the 75th position here. Sequence 1, 75th position. 75th position, G is replaced by A. The coronavirus is mutated in the Indian sample. Maybe, for example, I'm just telling, in the Indian sample, when you isolate it, the actual sequence is G is present here. Why in a UK, maybe UK you can check, why in VK it is causing a disease? Because in the particular position, the G is replaced by alanine. So this sample also same. So like this, there are many are there. For example, here in this sample, the S is there, and this position I is there. So you need to collect all this information. And one important things you can see here, this is almost all the samples that mutated, particularly in this position. This mutation is very problematic. Past 6 months in the world, this mutation is very, very major concern. And that's called actually G actually. G is replaced by S. You can see here, the 261 position actually. The glycine is replaced by serine actually, almost all the samples. And still, if you go to some other places, the one more position is very problematic here. Uh, D, D614 position, D is replaced by G. So how to write this actually, this mutation detail? If you see that mutation detail, if you have to write this and post it in Google Cloud Storage, suppose if you are working on this. So D614 position, G is replaced. This is the major concern here. So I'm going to type it here, how to type these mutations. So D614 position and G. So here in the reference genomes, the D is aspartic acid, amino acids replaced by the glycine, the another amino acids. Like this, you have to collect all these sequence mutations where and all mutations are there. Again, one more mutations are here. Here again, G, 769 position, valine is there. 769 position, valine is there. So here, G, 769 position, valine is there. This is how you should collect all the mutations. And because we are going to study about this mutation now, so whether this mutation causes any diseases or not, whether this mutation is responsible for the disease or not. So that information we are going to collect, because that's very, very important, right? So we know that, because we cannot say all the mutations is responsible for the disease causing. All the mutations cannot be virulent. Sometimes the mutations happen, but that mutations causes any functional differences or any significance in this in the molecules or in the system. So we need to identify and screen how many, we need to collect all the mutations. When you free time, please collect all these mutations and please upload it in the cloud storage. Then we'll just verify it, all those things actually. There are a few mutations are reported here, you can see here. And also there are one more thing actually, you can see here the site, you can just go create site and the variable site if you click. So you will be able to identify easily where that you can see that X is there. Variable site, so this is a big variable site. And also one variable site is here. You can easily identify here exactly which are the variable sites here. You can see here. There is so these are the mutations you can just identify. So now one D614G I'm taking as an example. I just explain you how to identify how these mutations are problematic. How the mutations are have impact on this functional significance of this the coronavirus viral proteins. That I'm going to explain you now. So we can just check it carefully, and because it's very, very important actually. So we are coming to this interpretations now. Now I just again recap. We have discussed how to download the dataset, corona genome dataset from the database. From the database, how to collect the different samples. Again, how to compare these samples. From there, from the comparisons, how to identify these mutations. So from the comparisons, we have just identified a few mutations, and also we check this evolutionary path. Now we are going to check how these mutations are effective, how the mutations are virulent. So all these things we are going to check it now. So for that, I'm going to use, there are two tools called iMutant and Dynamute. So iMutant, there is online server. You can see here, you just click on this online server. Either we're going to upload the protein structure or sequence. I'm going to sequence we can enter. sequence where can we get? So you can get it from this actually FASTA sequences here, right? So actually this is a complete nucleotide sequence, but we want only the spike protein. So spike protein samples you can get it from this here. Protein IDs they're given here, coding DNA sequences. So just click on this FASTA sequence. There are 1073 amino acids are available here. This sequence you can just collect it from it, take it and paste it here, protein sequence. So, and also while pasting it, make sure that the second line should start with the sequence, because as I mentioned already, the computer, the server will consider if there is a greater than symbol, it consider the first line is a title. Immediately it will go to the second line and start reading that data. Suppose again in the second line, data should be there, actual data. If that data is not there, again this respiratory syndrome, something is there, means it will show the error. It will not read it properly. So that you just delete the second line, and also delete the gaps. There are a lot of gaps in these sequences actually, because when you data formats are like that. So you can just delete all those things, gaps. Right? So position is actually 614. The position we have here, the 614, the D is replaced by G, right? So here the new residue is what it is actually 614 position, already D is here. So the tool will recognize that the D is in the 614 position, and also new residue is G actually. The new mutated residue is G here. So we just give that, and other parameters you just check it now, and also you just give your email ID. So because this tool will send the results to that email ID. Whether these mutations causes any changes in the stability of the molecules, because the molecular stability is high, the protein, the function of this molecule is good. If it is lost of stability, then it will lose its function. So it is very important to check the stability of the molecules, to check the stability, whether these mutations have any effect on this, impact on the stability of these molecules, we can just get it. So when you submit it will take some time, the server will run somewhere, and after that, for that already I have run it. I just show you the data here, the iMutant results. So you can see here iMutant results is there, position 61G position. You will get a results like this in your mail. And this wild type is D, and the new residue is G, and the position is 615, the parameter which you use. And also the stability you can see here decreases, and RA value, reliability index values they're given here, and DDG values predictions they're given here. What is this value exactly? So clearly they're given here. If the values is actually less than 0.5, the larger decreases of stability. If greater than 0.5, larger increases of stability, and greater than or equal actually the natural neutral stability. So here 0.93, and also you have to run the more tools actually to cross validate the results, because the tool is developed by some people actually. Sometimes we cannot say that the tools is accurately it's good. Then sometimes you can use the 3-4 tools you can get. For that, one more tool I have actually, that the tool is called as a Dynamo. So very fantastic tool. Very recently, I just come to know about these tools actually. So it will give a lot of information about this tool actually. So if you go to the Dynamute in this actually, you can upload it here, the structure. But one drawback here, you cannot directly submit the sequence here. The advantage is also, you can see, we need to upload the protein structure here, wild type of the structure. Further, how to download the wild type of the structure? So you can just download the protein data bank here, because this database for only for protein structure retrieval. So all the protein structures are available here. And from these actually, you can just SARS, COVID, if you type it, there are many proteins are there. And so if you click this, I just tell you the demo, how to download the structures. I already have downloaded, I'll show you, upload it, and tell you explain you the results. You can see that here, if you just click on this ID, protein ID, the protein structures are given as a spike protein, actually S proteins open here. You can download the PDB format here. So if you click this, the PDB format will be downloaded here in this download page. So this file, you can just upload it in the Dynamute. You can see here, you can upload in the Dynamute. So already I have downloaded one file, and there is some errors in that. I just refined it. The protein is called the spike protein here I downloaded. So when you upload it, and also you need to give here the mutation position D61G, and which is the chain actually, it is chain B actually in the protein structure, which I have already. When you give, and also it's optional if you can give, or else you can, if you give your email ID, you will get a results. Run predictions, if you just click on that, it will run and give us the results. So it will take some time, because it uses the protein structure, so a lot of calculations happen. It will take some time. So already I have done this results. The results also I have got it. Your submission ready. I'll show you how the results look like. So when you click on this, this is the results actually. You can see that this position is it's actually aspartic acid. Now one sample, the SARS-CoV-2, the aspartic acid is there in the position 645. The samples which are collected in India or in some other places, the glycine is there. So this is a mutant actually. So when you have these mutations, then the stability is increasing actually. That means the protein function is good actually. So this because of the stability, the function is actually very good actually. So it can function properly and it will do that work. And also you can see the lot of information here from this tool and you can download here the flexibility analysis as well. And also you can just click interatomic interactions actually. So here how this wild type and mutant, this aspartic acid and glycine actually they are located in the position actually the wild type. Is there any changes in that actually? And also you can check, you can download these mutations actually, interactive wild type and mutant actually. And also you can download it and visualize in a PyMol session. You can see that I just downloaded here. So you can just download it. There is a tool called visualization tool PyMol. I was mentioned in the PPT. So you can also visualize this file into PyMol session. I'm so sorry, I'm a bit faster actually. There's a software called PyMol, 3D visualization software, molecular visualization software. So here you can upload this protein PyMol session actually, so which we downloaded from the Dynamo. And this is the tool I was talking about actually. So you can open the file. The file which you downloaded here, I just uploaded. You can see here, we can just upload it, and you can also you can just see that label it which amino acid it is. For example, if labeled residues, you can see that aspartic 587. So different label you can just give it. You can label the residues, alanine, and in the position, and you can just check it what are that amino acids are there. All this information you can get it. Also, you can just zoom in and zoom out, and you can just check all this how the proteins are there. Also, you can check the sequence here, sequence file where it is actually exactly the position, all these things you can just check it here in this tool. Okay. So, and the fluctuations also, you can the residual fluctuation. Suppose is there any 614 position? Is there a lot of fluctuation? Stability is there, the residual fluctuation, because the wild type and mutant, you can see the mutant D587G actually there. Actually, we uploaded some other model protein structure. So it is there in the model protein because started from actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that protein structure we use, their protein wild type and mutant type is there here. And all these informations you can get it from this. So the interpretations here from this tool actually it is increasing the stability of the protein structure. That's the reason why it become a more virulent. D614G the mutations has become more problematic. So because it's increasing stability, and the function of this protein is um, also increased actually stable. So these are the things. Now I'm going to explain you how to prepare these mutations. Okay, sir, you can ask me. So how to prepare this mutant protein actually. So I'm going to explain you how to prepare the mutations here. So for that, I'm going to use SPDB, SUSPDB viewer. There's a tool called SUSPDB, Switzerland Institute of Technology, Institute of Bioinformatics Centers they developed. So I just open this SUSPDB viewer here. There I'm going to upload the spike protein, wild type. Yeah, I uploaded spike protein wild type here. So now we are looking for mutation. This is a wild type actually. Wuhan city, they have sequenced this, identified this protein, spike protein. There is a mutations identified in many countries actually. That mutations we are going to, that mutant protein we are going to elucidate, prepare it now. Yeah, you can see here 614. So I just remove everything and I just threw only the 614 position, aspartic acid 614 position. This position actually we are going to mutate. So in this position, the glycine is there. In Indian sample or in the many countries, the D614G mutations, the G should be there. How to prepare this mutant protein? Just click on this here mutate option here. You can see here mutate. And also you just click on this. So when you click on that, it will show which amino acid you are going to mutate it. Glycine actually. So you can choose glycine. Sometimes because of the software compatibility, it will the speed. So speed also needed. Computer speed also required more here, so that it will show this type of errors. Sometimes you will face it. Just a moment. Yeah, 614 position we can see here. I just mutate the amino acids, then I will move on to this. Yeah, so this is the aspartic acid actually. So just mutate, click on this, and the glycine is here. Yeah, now the glycine 61 position, glycine is there. So now we can just 61 position glycine is there. This protein you can just prepare it, and you can save this layer. 614G, 614G. So now I saved. Actually, you were supposed to do the energy minimization because to get the stabilized structure, if you go to the tool and you just click on the energy minimization, sometimes it takes more time based on this computer configurations. So now we prepared D61 position at the mutant structure, right? So that structure you can visualize. Yeah, this structure you can just visualize it in PyMol, and also you can just check it whether it's a mutation mutant protein is there. So you can use this structure now in the Dynamute, and also I have done like this only. You can use the structure in the Dynamute or different tools which required that protein structure for its analysis. You can check the stability and the functional importance and all this data. You can see that here. So here I uploaded. Now D61G is here, and also I want to see that where exactly the D61 position. You can see here the sequence file here. So see 614, 614. If you see 614, yeah. Here G is there actually. 614 G is there residues. You can see here in this I labeled it in the. So glycine is there. So the wild protein, the Wuhan city, they have identified the spike protein. It is in the position 614. The aspartic acid was there. Now we have prepared. Actually, if you isolate this same protein from samples, different samples in India, some patients, and you check that you isolate this virus and isolate this protein and go for structural elucidations in experimental laboratory, it's very, very difficult. It takes more time. So by the time you can see the situation in the world. So now you can see that to find out the clues and solution. So you can use the computational tools. So to prepare this protein, now if you are designing a drug molecule, whether the drug molecule have any effect on this binding effect on this particular region, or if these amino acids have any impact on this binding affinity of these drug molecules, are there any the vaccine or anything, whatever it is. And all these things we can just study in computational method actually. We can use the tools like these and we can just find out a clue from here. Once you find a clue, then you can just use these clues research to do more research in the experimental laboratories. Even you can just find a solution for that. So this is how the computational tools are helping us to identify and understand the molecular and functional level of these SARS coronaviral proteins, and also to identify, to screen these mutations. And it is very, very important, and it plays a vital role actually in SARS coronavirus research, the computational methods and tools. So there are a lot of research or a number of tools are available actually to analyze these data actually. And also you can not only those, also you can just compare, you can just superimpose actually spiked wild. So you can see the both I just uploaded here. This is spike protein, and you can also change this element color. Spike protein D protein. So you can see the two proteins are here. I uploaded here. You can just superimpose and you can just check it. For example, how to superimpose? You can align to a molecule D16. For example, I'm just spike wild protein. I'm going to align it to that mutant protein. So you can see that mutant protein when you align, it will just do the alignment here and created here, and we can see the alignment file is created here. So you can just see exactly where is that position in that 61G position. You will be able to see the 614. Yeah, you can see here. Then the wild protein D is there here. The mutant G is here. So both the proteins we can label it. So you can see here in this position, the glycine was there, and now the aspartic, both amino acids, even aspartic acid replaced with glycine. That's what we can see here. And still, if you want to see different models, you can see that the stick model, you can see which are the amino acids are there. So you can do the superimposition, and you can see the structural analysis, and you prepare it further studies. You can use these models, protein models, and you can find some inferences or some clues from this study. Yeah, there is one more tools actually left out that takes some time. So I just show you how to run it. Later on, you can just see the interpretations. This is a FASTQ file format. There is if you open this FASTQ file format, there is Windows batch file. Just click on this Windows batch file, because the sequencing machines are there, right? Sequences. They just sequence the genome, viral genome sequence, or any organism genome sequence. So while they're generating the data, so some errors will be there. The report will sometimes the report is not good actually. That errors can be identified here, and we can rectify it here. Okay. So FASTQ file format. This can be SRR file format. You can download from NCBI or ENA data bank or any other UCSA genome browser, any other database you can download it. It's already I downloaded. So this is genome data file actually. So from different samples. So these are the things actually we'll get it from this. So how to identify whether the quality is good or not. So it is quality check. FAST means fast quality check software it is. So it is checking the quality of a genome sequence. Because genome, the sequencer sometimes they will be due to the base calling errors, problems, and it will show some errors. There will be some errors in that actually. To check these errors and to check the quality of this genome data, because before going to analysis for sequence similarity, phylogenetic analysis, for further analysis or mutation studies, you need to first check the quality of these genomes, right? To check the quality, we use the FastQC software actually. So base statistics, there are different modules you can see here. It's given here. So different colors also they given here. It's actually it's a good quality actually here. There is no problem here. It's normal actually. It's very normal. This green color. If it is actually there's slightly abnormal. This orange color means slightly abnormal. This red color means it's actually very poor quality actually. So bad quality we call it is. This has to be rectified actually. So here the sequence quality here also it's measures here. It's a position in the read, and there are a lot of things about it actually. The quality score is given in the y-axis and x-axis. This is the mean quality actually. Based on this blue color mean qualities, and we'll be able to identify it. Actually, it's supposed to be here. Actually, quality is good actually when compared to this. And based on that, if it is a poor quality, it should not be there in the red color. If it is there, and it's a poor quality. And also the per sequence quality scores are there, GC content and the nucleotide contents also there. It should be distributed properly, and also the GC content also should be distributed properly. All these things can be checked here, and the sequence length distributions also should be checked and monitored here actually in this. And over response sequences here, because when you do the sequencing, they just use the primers and adapters and different barcodes they use, and they check to identify those things. And if it is there any there's different Illumina or different sequencing primers or barcodes that can be identified here, and we can further methods we can use it to eliminate it. So adapter cutters also they use it here. The Illumina adapters they use it, and different which adapter they use it here. Those things can be eliminated, and only we should have genome sequences at the end. So the different tools we use, SAM tools and BAM tools and Trigonometric, Cut Adapt, there are different tools are available for these analysis. So using these tools, we can just remove and trim out all these things, and we can get the raw quality data of genome data for further analysis. So I think any doubt is there, please post it in the storage space, cloud storage space. I'll be happy to respond to you. And yeah. Thank you very much for time. Yeah.
Thank you, sir,
Yeah.
for giving such an information session on the most current hot topic of coronavirus. To brief it, the research scope in the field of coronavirus genome analysis, especially the SARS-CoV-2 virus, was being outlined. Hands-on session introduced the tools like IGV tool to identify spike protein in coronavirus, MegaX, a fantastic tool for molecular genetic analysis, CView tool to identify mutations in genomes, iMutant suit, the predictor of stability change in the protein mutation, PyMol to visualize the 3D molecular structure, and even the FastQC to identify the quality check of the genome data. So thank you, sir, for giving such an informative session. Okay, we have a...
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
From 1 to 2, we'll join again at 2.
So we have a lunch break. We'll join at 2:30 back. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.